like a massively better financial situation than they were a year ago.
And with more potential tariffs on the way from the Trump administration, it's hard to tell if and when consumers might see higher prices, Government Kenny says.
If they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or even next week, next month, then it becomes far more difficult to work out, how much should I be saving now? How much should I be spending?
Higher debt levels aren't all bad, says Stephen Blitz at TS Lombard. For some households, it might actually be a sign of financial confidence.
You're willing to run a high balance because you feel like you're going to get the income down the line to pay it down or to carry it.
American households, he says, are in pretty good financial shape right now if you look at the population overall. I'm Henriette for Marketplace.
Markets S&P and NASDAQ futures are both down less than 0.2%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Schwab. Schwab offers investors choices like full-service wealth management, self-directed investing options, and trading on Think or Swim. More at schwab.com. And by the Marketplace newsletter. No jargon, no hype, just smart takes on the economy. Marketplace.org/subscribe.
Even as President Trump has ordered curbs on the Inflation Reduction Act and bipartisan infrastructure law passed by Congress and signed by former President Biden, many states still have goals for making renewable energy and reducing carbon emissions. Now that requires a workforce. In Colorado, labor unions are asking who better to do these projects than workers already in the trades. Rocky Mountain Community Radio's Caroline Yanez has more on how this is playing out in Colorado.
At the Denver Joint Electrical Apprenticeship and Training Center, Dan Hendricks is multitasking. While he demonstrates switches on a practice motor, he describes what goes into an electrician's apprenticeship.
This is towards the end of their apprenticeship where they learn motor control, different switching systems, things of that nature. So as they progress, right, the work gets more interesting.
Outside, there's practice infrastructure. A 60-foot wind turbine, which connects to 4 electric vehicle chargers, as well as solar panels. Hendricks gets a lot of questions about green jobs, but he says this program just expands on traditional training.
That wind turbine out there really is just another electrical installation. For us, it's a piece of machinery that has to hook to the electrical system of the building. So it's really no different than a motor or anything else of that nature that we might do anyway.
Colorado labor unions want to ramp up green energy projects. Historically, energy production in the state has come from rural areas, mostly coal and fossil fuels. Dennis Doherty with Colorado AFL-CIO wants to see rural communities play a role in the transition.
You do not have to choose between a good union family-sustaining job in taking care of Colorado's climate, our water, and our lands.
Colorado is the first state in the Mountain West with a labor coalition for climate jobs, but other states have similar campaigns, including Texas and California, which also have initiatives to transition workers from the fossil fuels industry to green energy jobs.
I have a strong interest in a career that will positively benefit the environment.
24-year-old Aidan Boyd is a prospective electrician apprentice at the Denver facility.
I'm excited to work with my hands, It's a job that I feel won't be a victim in the future to automation or artificial intelligence. It's going to be required.
And with the skills he'll learn, Boyd will just as easily be ready to install solar panels or maintain wind turbines as wire new appliances in someone's home. In Colorado, I'm Caroline Yanez for Marketplace.
And Jeep maker Stellantis is telling Fortune magazine that a software glitch is making mandatory ads come too often and persistently from the infotainment systems of some Jeeps, bugging the daylights out of some drivers. The company points out that owners signed up for the "you can't turn them off" ads when they signed up for some Sirius XM satellite radio plans. I'm David Brancaccio with the special heart-shaped Valentine's Have the Best Day Ever edition of the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.
This is 91.3 WLRN in HD1, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. 91.5 WKWM in HD1, Marathon, Key West. 105.5 WOLL HD2, Hove Sound. And 101.9 NPR for the Palm Beaches.
In South Florida, the only constant thing about the news is change. I'm Tim Padgett. Every Friday on the South Florida Roundup, we dive into local and state politics, Latin American relations, education, the environment, wherever the headlines take us. We talk to the news gatherers and the news makers from Palm Beach to Key West. Join us Friday afternoons at 1 p.m., Saturday mornings at 6 a.m., or anytime by searching South Florida Roundup on your podcast app.
The smart speaker is the new home radio. Of course, you can't ask your old radio to turn on your lights or set your thermostat, but you can ask your smart speaker to play WLRN and get all the news or classical music you want anytime. Try it now.
Good morning. The European Union is furious with President Trump for sidelining them as he talks with Russia about peace in Ukraine. And the dust-up comes just in time for the Munich Security Conference this weekend. More ahead on Morning Edition from NPR News.
Coming up from the WLRN newsroom, Governor Ron DeSantis signs a tough new immigration bill after a rare feud with lawmakers in his own party.
Elon Musk, the unelected billionaire heading an entity to remake the federal government, is acting a lot like a head of state. I'm Michelle Martin.
And I'm Layla Falden. From a briefing in the Oval Office to mass layoffs, two of our correspondents break down the week for us. Also, a new NPR Ipsos poll finds that Americans are deeply divided about President Trump's crackdown on immigration. And we have appreciations for taxidermy and moss. It's Friday, February 14th. On this day in 1990, the Voyager 1 spacecraft snapped a photograph of a tiny, faint planet Earth. The photograph would become known as Pale Blue Dot. News is next.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Corva Coleman. Vice President Vance is set to meet Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky today on the sidelines of the Munich Security Conference. NPR's Deepa Shivaram reports the U.S. is taking a more active role in efforts to bring an end to the Russia-Ukraine war.
Vance is also set to deliver remarks at the annual conference, where the Russia-Ukraine war has been a central focus since it started nearly 3 years ago. On Wednesday, President Trump held a lengthy phone call with Russian leader Vladimir Putin and said the two would meet face-to-face in Saudi Arabia soon. Trump afterward also spoke with Zelensky over the phone. Vance spoke at the Munich Security Conference last year as well and said it was time for the U.S. to pivot away from its focus on Europe and turn to China and East Asia as the future of U.S. foreign policy. Deepa Shivaram, NPR News.
President Trump has announced reciprocal tariffs against countries around the world. NPR's Danielle Kurtzleben explains.
Trump described what he means by reciprocal tariffs.
On trade, I have decided, for purposes of fairness, that I will charge a reciprocal tariff, meaning whatever countries charge the United States of America, we will charge them. No more, no less.
The administration said they will determine what each country's tariff level should be. Commerce Secretary nominee Howard Lutnick said the first tariffs could come as early as April. Tariffs are taxes paid by American companies that import goods. Trump acknowledged that the tariffs could lead to higher prices, but said he hopes they will create jobs. Earlier this week, Trump signed a separate order for 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum. Danielle Kurtzleben, NPR News.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul is refusing to extradite a New York doctor to Louisiana. Last month, officials in Louisiana charged the doctor with prescribing abortion pills online to a Louisiana resident. Louisiana's Governor Jeff Landry says the doctor needs to face trial, so justice will be served. Governor Hochul replied on MSNBC's The Rachel Maddow Show.
We have a doctor who's trying to help someone in another state who's been denied the right of control over her own body, just doing what her oath requires her to do. And now she's treated like a criminal. It was not a tough decision for me, Rachel. I said, no and hell no. I will never, ever send this person to harm's way to stand for 15 years of possible jail time for just being a doctor.
This case could be the first to test New York State's SHIELD law. It protects providers who prescribe abortion medication to patients in states where abortion is outlawed. Hamas has named the 3 hostages it will release tomorrow as originally called for in the ceasefire agreement with Israel. The hostages include an American and a Russian who are dual citizens with Israeli citizenship. Their release will resolve a dispute with Israel that had threatened to derail the ceasefire agreement. On Wall Street, futures are down. This is NPR. From the WLRN Newsroom, I'm Christine DiMattei. Governor Ron DeSantis signed 2 immigration reform bills yesterday, just hours after lawmakers voted the measures off the floor. It represents a compromise between DeSantis and the GOP-controlled legislature after the two sides had reached a stalemate with dueling immigration proposals. Here's reporter Regan McCarthy from our sister station in Tallahassee.
DeSantis signed the legislation as House Speaker Daniel Perez and Senate President Ben Albritton smiled at his side. The governor calls the measures a team effort.
I absolutely anticipate other states will follow what Florida has done as we move forward in the weeks and months ahead. We are ahead of the curve on ending the illegal immigration crisis. We didn't just sit on our hands. We got to work. We hashed it out, and we've got a great product going forward.
The package includes a plan to create an immigration enforcement board made up of members of the Florida cabinet. The bills also remove the ability for undocumented students to receive in-state tuition, create stiffer penalties for crimes committed by undocumented immigrants, and make it a crime for undocumented people to enter the state. The measures are meant to position the state to support President Donald Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration. I'm Regan McCarthy in Tallahassee.
Meanwhile, Florida Democrats are raising concerns about the immigration reform signed yesterday. As we just heard, one of the provisions makes it a crime for an undocumented person to enter the state of Florida. House Democratic leader Fentress Driscoll worries that that measure puts added strain on the state's law enforcement officers.
The question remains, how do you identify someone as undocumented? You know, what are the markers and how would they go about that? And they were not able, the bill sponsors were not able to answer those questions sufficiently. So I do worry that it could get our law enforcement into hot water, and Lord knows they're already under enough strain.
In a written statement, Florida Democratic Party Chair Nikki Fried said that the wide-ranging measures approved yesterday will not solve anything and that they will only hurt people and ruin lives. This is WLRN News. I'm Christine DiMattei. Here's Natu Tue.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for making WLRN a part of your Friday morning listening. Happy Valentine's Day to you and yours. We're live and local. We're South Florida's NPR news source. We're 91.3 WLRN.
Listeners in Key West and Marathon, our frequency at 100.5 FM will be off the air this weekend for transmitter maintenance, Saturday and Sunday, starting at 9 a.m. and continuing as late as 6 p.m. 91.5 WKWM will remain on the air. Thank you.
Baptist Health Brain and Spine Care, named one of the top neurology and neurosurgery programs in the nation by U.S. News and World Report, is dedicated to delivering world-class care for all neurological conditions, from common back pain to complex brain tumors. Their experts have the skills, technology, and resources needed to give patients the care they deserve. Learn more at 833-596-3876.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people, and the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, helping NPR advance journalistic excellence in the digital age.
This is Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm Michelle Martin.
And I'm Layla Falden. Coming up, Saturday Night Live turns 50. That includes 5 decades of music guests. We preview their anniversary concert airing tonight. But first,
a critical figure in President Trump's effort to remake the federal government is his billionaire donor, Elon Musk. Trump has given Musk and the ad hoc group called the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, virtually